Madam, good evening. Dr. Swati is going to join. Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Hello.
Yes, good evening, sir.
Good evening, madam. Dr. Swati will join now.
Sir, she said she will join inaugural session. Or maybe she'll join maybe another 10 minutes.
Okay.
Good evening, Jaya ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Jay ma'am.
Good evening. Why, ma'am? This is which ID did you log in?
The ID that
Red 5?
I think Z5 at cvr.ac.in.
Yeah,
The Z5 one.
yeah. Okay, I'm renaming you.
All right, fine.
Jaya ma'am, good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
You rename me also, no? I am not able to do
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening, sir.
Here it is. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am. How many participants expected, madam?
Sir, we have got 100 plus registration.
Okay.
Maybe like some of them will join from the session or some might join inaugural session too.
Okay.
Okay, some of them must be outside Hyderabad also, madam.
Sir?
Good evening,
Some of
Vishnu
them,
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Most of the faculty, around 130 registrations, sir.
okay,
Around 60% from all corners of the world, sir. From different states, they will join, sir.
okay. Must be from degree colleges also.
Degree college aided lecturers are there, sir.
Okay. Sir, good evening, sir. Narasimhachari, sir.
Good evening, sir. Good evening.
Sir, good evening.
మేడం వాళ్ళు 3-4 టైమ్స్ అన్నారు సాయంత్రం అటెండ్ చేయండి సార్ సాయంత్రం అటెండ్ చేయండి అన్నారు.
Okay.
నమస్కారం సార్.
Namaskaram. Today twice.
మీరేం వేరుశనకాయ పప్పులు తింటున్నారా?
లేదు సార్.
లేదా?
లేదు.
ఆయన గురువారెడ్డి గారు ఉన్నాడు చూడండి. మనం మాట్లాడుకోవచ్చు కదా ఇప్పుడు పిచ్చాపాటి.
అంటే నో
ఆయన గురువారెడ్డి గారు ఉన్నాడు చూడండి. ఎవరు మోకాళ్ళ ఆపరేషన్లు చేస్తాడు కదా, సన్షైన్ హాస్పిటల్. ఆయన ఒక ఇంటర్వ్యూలో చెప్పాడు సార్, ఆయనకు వేరుశనకాయ పప్పులు అంటే చాలా ఇష్టంట. అవి తినండి, నేను కూడా తింటాను అని చెప్పాడు ఆయన. చాలా మంచిది ఆరోగ్యానికని. ఎముకలకు బలం అని చెప్పాడు సార్ ఆయన. వేరుశనకాయ పప్పులు, నువ్వులు అవి చాలా మంచివిట. ఇప్పుడు ఈ వర్క్ షాప్ లో అందరూ మన వాళ్ళేనా, బయట వాళ్ళు ఎవరన్నా మాట్లాడతారా?
Jaya madam, please respond.
ఓకే సార్, ఐఎమ్ రెడీ.
Sir?
Sir's question was outside participants about
స్పీకర్స్.
speakers or resource persons.
Yes.
Are there resource persons from outside also? I think there are.
Yes, sir. There
Yes,
are 3 overseas speakers. One from Australia, Dr. Hao Tran, and Malcolm Webb from Canada, and Dr. Feroz from Oman.
And also from Usmania and Flo.
Yes, sir. We have today Dr. P. Swati ma'am session. She is head of psychology department in Usmania University. And tomorrow we have Dr.Santosh Mahapatra from BITS Pilani, Hyderabad. And then we have overseas, and last session is by Dr. Raj Shekhar. He is in government college in AP.
Okay. ఇప్పుడు మొదలైతుందండి. Good evening, sir. Principal, sir.
Good evening, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, good evening.
Good evening, Principal, sir.
Good evening, madam.
Sir, we are waiting for Chairman, sir, to join us.
Okay, madam.
We'll start as soon as he joins.
Had you left the message to chairman, sir, madam?
I'm already here. I joined 5 minutes ago.
Okay, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Sir, good evening.
Bhavani, ma'am?
Yeah, Jaya.
Yeah, we can start. I think sir has joined us.
Okay. Good evening, dear participants. On behalf of the management of CVR College of Engineering and the Department of English, I welcome you all to the faculty development program entitled Creating a Conducive and Engaging Classroom Environment for Learning and Teaching. The topic for the FDP has been chosen in such a way that it doesn't remain subject or domain specific and applies to teachers of all subjects. Keeping the classroom relevant is a challenge today, as most of us are aware, because the teacher is now competing or sharing space with the omnipresent technology. I welcome our chairman, principal, vice principal, dean academics, dean research, dean planning and project, HOD sir, Professor Narsimhacharyalu sir, and Dr. A.K. Singh sir to the FDP. On this occasion, I invite our respected chairman, Dr. Raghava Cherabuddigaru, to share his insights on this FDP. Chairman sir.
Yeah, at the outset, I want to thank the English department of the Department of H&S at CVR College of Engineering and all the participants out there. I see about 80 plus participants. I think they come from, what I know is I think they come from various engineering colleges and there are a few people from other colleges also, degree I think. So a warm welcome to all of you and thanks for joining today. And the one thing that comes to mind is, thanks to COVID, we all have, now access to online, conference systems, and we can learn any time of the day. I think now, the advantage is that, we're able to join on a meeting, after the normal, college or the school working hours. So with that, I think, the topic, I'm not an expert in that, but definitely, with so many distractions, coming around technology wise, and, other distractions, I think, how do you engage your the students in the classroom? How do you engage in a, more productive and, learning, 100%, in the classroom? So this is always been a challenge, especially in the last 10 to 12 years, I would say. And I think we didn't have these distractions and challenges earlier to that. So having said that, I think, I would request all the attendees, participants to, learn from, the expert speakers for the next several days on this FDP, and, go back and implement, and always be in touch with the fellow, attendees as well as the organizers, so that we continue to learn from each other. So with that, I wish I thank the organizers, and I wish all the participants all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now request our respected principal, Dr. Ramohan Reddy Garu, to address the participants.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Now this 1 week FDP on the title Creating a Conducive and Engaging Classroom Environment for Learning and Teaching is of greater relevance in the present scenario. Because nowadays teaching is not just about delivering the content, but it is about fostering curiosity, interaction, and deep understanding among the young minds. To achieve this, we need to adopt various techniques, such as understanding the psychology of students, using the non-verbal communications, and sometimes even we need to start the class with ice-breaking activities, such as starting the class with a little fun, or with brainstorming, or the thought-provoking activities to draw the attention of the students. In the era of digital technology and artificial intelligence, now the students have got access to various sources from where they get a lot of explanation and visuals for a better understanding of any topic or concept. At this juncture, one important question arises: why should a student should understand attend the classes, whether it is just for the sake of attendance? No, not at all. So we, the teachers, nowadays this teaching learning process has become a very crucial task for the educators. Hence, we need to adopt innovative methodologies to make the classroom more interactive and more meaningful. In the light of this, now the Department of English of H&S is organizing 1 week online FDP on the topic creating conducive and engaging classroom environment for learning and teaching is of greater importance. I congratulate the convener, Dr. Jay Verma, co-convener, Dr. Haimavati, and other organizing committee members for now choosing this wonderful title as now one of the, as FDP. My sincere thanks are due to all the resource persons taking part in this 1 week FDP. I extend my warm welcome to all the participants to this FDP, and I wish all the participants an enriching and fruitful learning experience. I wish this FDP a grand success, and I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now request our Vice Principal, Sir, Professor L.C. Shivareddy Garu, to say a few words on this occasion.
Good evening, everyone. Chairman Dr. Raghava, Principal Sir, and Head Department of Humanities and Sciences, Dr. E.N. Chari Sir, Singh Sir, and all the deans and all invitees, and also the speakers of the coming session. I think this particular FTP, creating conducive and engaging classroom environment, teaching and learning. So as Chairman Sir said, after the post-pandemic, it has become almost challenging to have the attention of the students in the classroom. So there may be several theories about keeping attention and all the other various theories, but definitely it is a challenge. And especially when the materials, sources for the various learning materials are available on the internet, then making them actually to see that they learn something from the various other things that are there, not only in the classroom, but outside the classroom. But as I see, as I'm experiencing in the college, the most of the psychology of the students is that, okay, maybe there is attendance regulation that is there in the university. So perhaps for that, we are there here. And thinking that 9 to 4 or 9 to 3:30 is the college timings, and the remaining time is for them, for their personal, not for learning, not for something else, maybe except very tiny percentage of students who would like to utilize the technology and resources that are available. But most of the students are not utilizing the opportunities that are there to learn. So I think it will be a great success for this particular FDP to inculcate in the teachers who are attending this particular FDP how to engage and how to see that the students and as well as the teachers, because here it is not only just teaching, it is actually not one way. Okay, we are Varakil and you learn. No, not that kind of thing. But it is a two-way kind of thing. We have to learn and then we have to assimilate, we have to understand, and then see that there is a learning environment is created. So I hope this particular program is going to be successful in that attempt. So I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. I thank all the, I expect all the participants who are attending this particular FDP, utilize all the lectures that are there, throughout 5 days or 6 days, listen to the experts and try to learn something, because most of the time the online courses have become, okay, I am there, I'm logged in, but what I am doing is not known to anyone kind of thing. So I hope, I expect, I urge the attendees to be attentive and learn the techniques that are required to engage the class. So I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir. I now invite our Dean Academics, Dr. Nayantara KS, ma'am, to address the participants.
Thank you, Bhavani. Let me at the outset congratulate the Department of H&S and English in particular for organizing this FDP in engaging the classroom environment for learning and teaching. As the speakers before me have said, the influence of the internet and the social media on learning has really increased after the pandemic. And so I think the teachers may think of giving group tasks to a fixed number of students, something like what 3 of them given a different assignment, each of them a different task, and later on collaborate among themselves for producing a bigger result, giving a bigger problem, so that it makes it very interesting for them while also learning the grammar and other aspects of English. I also feel that many students are under the influence of their vernacular language. And so they construct English sentences also in the same structure as their vernacular language. So I think this has got to be imbibed in them slowly with practice. So these sort of group tasks also can be given. Like you can have 1 or 2 vernacular students with somebody who has more proficiency in English to give them these tasks. And so I wish the program a grand success and a good interaction between all the participants and the resource persons. And I thank all the organizers for giving me these opportunities. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I now request Head H&S Department, Dr. Bhikshamaya sir, to address the participants.
Good evening, everyone. Chairman sir, Dr. Raghava, Principal sir, Vice Principal sir, Deans, and my colleagues and dear participants. So these days, a lot of information is available, as previous speaker said. It is very difficult to make the classroom because information is available. Recently, I interacted with one of the third year students. I interacted regarding a program. He said, okay, how did you do? Okay, I just gave the link. He has completed the program and he returned to me. So I just asked him, okay, now, how are you making your studies? How are you doing your studies? Okay, do you look at the textbook or any reference book? He said, no, sir, just internet. But he's a very good student. He is able to learn everything. So these are the days we are in. So in this context, so what I personally feel is, so English department has taken a very good initiative. Unlike earlier they have conducted programs on English communication and for teaching and non-teaching faculty, whereas this is the topic they have chosen, that is engaging classroom environment for learning and teaching for any subject, not necessarily for English. So this is one point I observed, and so I congratulate for this. So further, I can see, so speakers are not only from English and also from psychology and applied sciences and Department of Language and applied linguistics. This is the second point I noted. So speakers are also from abroad. So I think this is definitely going to be useful. And from the participants are also not only from English and all over India, further from all the subjects. I wish this program definitely useful. I wish the participants take advantage of this and deliver the advantage to the students when they go back to their colleges. So I wish the organizers for giving me the opportunity and all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I have the privilege of introducing the convener and the co-convener of the FDP program, Dr. Jaya Verma and Dr. Haimavati, respectively. Dr. Jaya Verma, would you like to address the participants and tell us something about the idea behind this FDP?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Good evening, respected Chairman, sir, Principal, sir, Vice Principal, sir, Dean Academics, other deans, Head of the Department, dear colleagues, and participants. I'm Dr. Jaya Verma, Senior Assistant Professor of English in the Department of Humanities and Sciences. So on the onset, I welcome all the esteemed participants for joining a one-week faculty development program on creating conducive and engaging classroom environment for learning and teaching. And as we know that every teacher is a great resource for another teacher, such academic programs support educators in updating their knowledge and refining their teaching methods. So I would like to emphasize on 2 points. One, the aim of the FDP, and second, the outcome. So the major focus of FDP will be on the discussion, and the focus point, as I said, will be classroom environment. And psychological, educational, language aspect of classroom environment will be discussed. It will also help to get insight of the reasons which are deterring the outcomes we want at the end of the course, in spite of giving our best effort. The FDP will also touch various aspects from learner's point of view, as in our title itself, you can see that we have learning as well as teaching. It aims at providing effective tools and techniques of teaching and learning. And as far as outcomes of the FDPs are concerned, it will enable teachers to understand their learning ecosystem well. Therefore, teachers and learners will enjoy this process. It will help teachers to remove those bottlenecks, which is not letting desired outcome come out. And in this FDP, teachers will be a part of larger network of educators, and where they can discuss their teaching challenges and get support from this entire teaching community. And keeping in mind teacher schedule, FDP has been scheduled in the evening so that all the teachers can sit comfortably at home and listen to the talks by expert. And I thank our college management for their unflinching support at every step. And I also thank all the participants for joining this FDP. And I hope your cooperation and our effort will make this FDP successful. And now I announce this FDP open. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Jaya Verma. Before we move on to our expert for the day today, I would like to announce the organizing committee that has been following up and working behind the scenes for this FDP. The organizing committee comprises of Ms. Bhavani Balasubramaniam, Dr. Bhanu Rekha, Mr. Lawrence Raj, Ms. P. Sri Madhavi, Ms. Kalpana Bharati, Ms. Shabina Banu, Dr. K. Sham Sundar, Dr. P. Rajisha Menon, Mr. C.H. Srinivas, Dr. M. Srinivas, Ms. Shalini Shreya, Dr. Stuti Tiwari, Dr. Tausif Majid, and Dr. Narayana Bhashyam. It is now my honor and privilege to introduce our expert of the day today, Dr. P. Swati. Dr. P. Swati functions as the Assistant Professor and Head, Department of Psychology, Usmania University, Hyderabad. She is also the Assistant Director, UGC, HRDC, Usmania University, and Coordinator for Entrepreneur Development Cell, Usmania University. She was the former Chairperson, Board of Studies, Department of Psychology, and former Joint Director, Center for Women's Studies, OU. She is also a practicing counseling psychologist. Dr. Swati has more than 15 years of teaching experience, teaching UG, PG, MPhil, and PhD courses in psychology. She has a vast experience in having guided MPhil scholars and PhD scholars. 3 students of Dr. Swati were awarded PhD degrees in the recent past. Dr. Swati is also a trainer in psychology in the Judicial Academy, Police Academy, Forest Academy, Department of Animal Husbandry, Murray Chennareddy Human Resource Development Institute, Administrative Staff College of India, Geological Survey of India, Academic Staff College, OU, Academic Staff College, HCU, Geetham University, and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University and other engineering colleges. Dr. Swati has also prepared courseware for distance education in IGNOU UG and PG programs, Osmania University UG and PG programs, B.R. Ambedkar Open University UG and PG programs, and HCU. Dr. Swati has also prepared audio-visual material for IFLU. She has been active in electronic media and served as a resource person on many TV channels like TV9, TV5, ABN Andhra Jyoti, etc. Dr. Swati has also been a columnist in the Enadu and Andhra Jyoti newspapers. Dr. Swati also has many articles published in journals and has published books which have been printed by the Telugu Academy. It gives me great pleasure to have Dr. Swati with us today. I now invite Dr. Swati to take us through this much awaited session. Queries of the participants, if any, will be handled after the session. Dr. Swati, over to you. Dr. Swati?
Ma'am, I'll check. There's some issue with the ma'am's network, so she will be joining in 5 minutes, she's saying.
Okay.
I request all the participants kindly wait, and I'm so sorry for this inconvenience.
All right, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'll do it.
Good evening to everyone.
Good evening, Swati ma'am.
Extremely sorry. I was held up in a meeting and I just reached home. Yeah, I'm extremely sorry for the delay, for keeping you waiting. So quickly, already,
Madam,
Dr.
good evening. You are welcome.
Sir, how are you, sir?
Yeah, fine, fine. Carry on, madam.
Right. Dr. Jaya has already mentioned that she has read the profile, so we'll quickly jump to the actual session. So it's at the outset, I appreciate the efforts of the college management for conducting such programs. And definitely this is the need of the hour about what to be done with regard to the classroom engagement. Because we have seen after the pandemic, the engagement in the students has been reducing. They cannot sustain their attention for a long time in the classrooms. So in this context, I thought the role of psychological factors in classroom engagement can be the topic. So being like all of you, you have learned teachers with experience and probably your expertise in your own fields. So I would like to ask you about what do you think is actually the definition of engagement? What do you mean by this engagement? So let us make it an interactive session instead of just me talking. You can, as teachers, you can also share your experiences. I can see a lot number of participants, more than 100 participants. So according to you, what is the engagement? What do you mean by engagement?
Engagement probably means active involvement in the class.
Right? Active involvement in the class. Yeah, that's good. So any other responses?
Not only active involvement from the teacher and from the participants also, ma'am. Actually, reciprocal activity, cooperative learning, and interactive activity. It would be an active engagement of the classroom, ma'am.
You are right. So the engagement should be from both the teachers and also from the students' point of view. So before we discuss about like how we need to engage the students, what do you think, like all of you being in the teaching field since decades or more than decades, whatever be your experience, do you think like the students are accurately engaged to the right extent?
Exactly, no, ma'am. I'm sorry to disturb you. Exactly, no, ma'am. We need to tame them, and we need to grab the attention of the student and start the session, ma'am. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, thank you. So obviously, like I think we need to accept like whatever he has said. First thing is like the span of attention for any human being would be very less. So when you are taking the session for 1 hour, or in certain cases, it can be 2 hours also. One session is 2 hours. So you can understand it is very difficult for the teacher to make them engaged continuously with your teaching, with your tone of voice for 2 hours, looking at the same individual. Definitely, like it is not an easy task for the children, and at the same time, even for the teacher also. So, keeping in view certain factors like span of attention, which is just for a couple of seconds, like that is like 5 plus or minus 7 units, we call it as. So units is here like a few seconds. Each unit can be few seconds. So when I said 5 plus or minus 7 units, for every few seconds, there will be a disturbance in the attention span of the students. So we can understand now, like for 2 hours, the same topic by the same individual, when they have to attend to, unless like there is something interesting, it is very difficult for them to be engaged. And similarly, even for a teacher, how many of you like you go to the classrooms without cell phones, or even if you're going into the class with the cell phone, whether it should be in the silent mode, not even a vibration mode. Vibration mode also distracts. So how many of you will not pick up the calls when you are in the session? How many of you like will not take the mobile phones into the class? Even if you are taking, which should be in the silence mode. So can I see your responses or your emojis? Okay. So very few people do that. I think as professionals, we also have to see that we are continuously actively engaged, and we can set a role model for the students also that we should not use the cell phones, right? So these are certain general etiquette that we have to maintain in the classroom. So when I asked like the student engagement or the classroom engagement by the students, the word engagement has become very popular of recently, but otherwise it was known as developmental spirit, because the students are there to develop in all their domains, that is their cognitive domain, that is to what extent like they are using their mental processes and their emotional domain, trying to continuously be in the surroundings with a happy mood, not with the distress, and also making them put their behavior, accurate behavior in the class. We call that as the developmental spirit. But because it was sounding as more technical, that concept has been replaced with a new term, that is student engagement. So when we say student engagement, like some of you have mentioned, it is both the physical energy and the psychological energy that is invested by the student during that particular moment, whether it is in the classroom or whether it is their study hours, that is in the hostel or at home. So whenever they are with the academics, whatever academic work that they are doing, if continuously they are able to invest their physical and the psychological energy, that is not just pretending before the teachers or before their parents that they are indulging in reading or writing their academic work, but actually doing that, we count that as the academic engagement. Suppose in the class, when you are giving them certain practical work, whether it is a lab work or even in the class when you are giving them some sums to do, being an engineering college. So how many of the students are really be involved physically and psychologically? How many of them like they have to do because for the sake of doing, they are doing the work? how many have been showing that kind of an enthusiasm in dealing with it? So that reflects the actual student engagement. So the kind of attention, curiosity that they are showing, they are not just listening, but posing a lot of questions, which improves their critical thinking, showing the interest in the content that you are teaching them. Some topics probably they might be aware, or some topics really inculcating some kind of an interest in them to know more about it. Some concepts, even if they're not understanding, the hope, the happy, the positiveness that they have, like I can still learn the concept, or I can ask the teacher about this concept, and the passion that they are showing for the course that they are engaged with, that they are pursuing. So that indicates the kind of the engagement that they are experiencing. So it is not only about what we are teaching, it is also about what they are learning, how they are learning, and what is motivating them to attend your classes, and how they are progressing. So in a nutshell, uh, all these aspects, that is mentally to what extent they are prepared to attend the class, how they are behaving in the class, what is the impact of attending the classes on their performance. All these three things together constitute their academic engagement. And especially nowadays, we see like with the technology in the hand, obviously like at least some students, they prepare ahead compared to the teachers. Some students, probably they feel like, why should I listen to the teachers when everything is available on in the internet sources? Because they have good internet sources also, right? So when there is a heterogeneity of the students in the classroom with very intellectual people who are capable of reading, who can grasp much better than what the teacher is saying, or who is reading ahead and then coming to the class only to pose the questions and then they get the clarifications. On the other hand, who are very reluctant to attend to the classes, either because they are not interested in the studies, or the choice of the course is not probably taken by them, but they're forced to do the engineering course or a particular branch in the engineering course. So on the other hand, they're interested to do, but some students, probably their intelligence level or their cognitive abilities might be very poor. So when you have to deal with such a heterogeneous group with different kinds of difficulties or the different skills that they have, naturally, like the teacher also has to update every day, not only about the content, but how that has to be presented. So here, I would just like to ask, what are the challenges that you face when you have to really deal with these students in making them engage constructively in the classroom? Can you just tell me what are the challenges that you experience? Anyone? Yeah, I think some answers are there in the chat box.
Yes, ma'am. One thing is that they do not generally open up. They are reluctant to speak.
Yes, sometimes they don't open up. What could be the reason for not opening up?
Maybe being they fear of being judged by
Yes.
other students.
So one thing is like probably they feel if I respond, if I give an inaccurate response, how the other students might be feeling or what the lecturer might be thinking about me, right? Then self-doubt, whether can I respond correctly or not. So these kind of inhibitions also might be stopping them to really open up, or lack of interest, as some of you have pointed out. Yeah, distracted, self-doubt, feeling shy. A very introvert person who studies well, but out of social anxiety, that is because they are in the midst of the other students in the classroom. If I say something wrong, how the other people would take. Definitely, all the students might not be really considering them as like in a wrong way, but still it is only a self-assumption. Then fear of criticizing, fear of mockery. Yes. Some people have that low inclusion expressed, right? Feeling insecure among more confident. Yes. Low self-esteem, lack of content, stage fright. Very good. All these are correct responses. Feeling very insecure. Yes.
Ma'am,
Yes.
another thing that I found is that while all these reasons that we are talking about are majority of the reasons, one thing is that some of the classes are very, very hyperactive and they are interested in conversing with themselves or with their peers and not with engage with the teacher. They refuse to engage with the teacher, not because they're introverts, but because there's already an ongoing conversation with a peer and the teacher is interfering with the teaching in between that conversation. So it's not introversion, sometimes it is extreme extroversion and the teacher is seen as an interference, maybe.
See, this is what happens, like a section of the students, probably their personality, as whatever I have said, due to the introversion. In certain cases, as you have mentioned, because they are highly enthusiastic to interact with the others, or whenever the faculty gives some kind of a group discussion or some kind of an activity, so more than the activity, that the kind of the noise that they do, that could be because of their extroversion. So here, like, as someone has mentioned in the chat box, it is not one particular reason, there will be different reasons. Only thing is, students have to be extrovert, but not to the extremely extrovert where they're disturbing the whole class. So, as you said, like, sometimes they're engaged more among themselves rather than with the class or with the faculty more. So, let us see what are the different kind of the domains that we have.
Ma'am, can I also say that they actually disconnect from the faculty and also the material when they talk with the peers, engage in a conversation?
Yeah, see, sometimes it could be, it's a very, see, even if you are a very good teacher, but certain concepts might be boring. However, effectively you try to present it. So one could be the content, lack of interest in the content. Second thing is the topic is really good, but the person may not be able to comprehend. The students may not be able to comprehend in certain situations with certain topics. So then also they would be disengaged and they start disturbing others who are at least pretending to be listening. So slowly, like this kind of an disturbance will become contagious, right? And they disturb the whole class. They are deviating from the actual classroom situations. So here there are 4 facets of student engagement. Of one already I have mentioned, like student engagement reflects physically and psychologically to what extent they are infused with the energy. So some kind of a quiz or some kind of an activity when you give, especially in the afternoon sessions, I think you can see them, like when you move away from the regular talk and chalk method and give them some activity, this kind of physical and psychological energies will definitely be there. So think over, like at least once in a week, any kind of an activity based upon your earlier topics, some kind of a demo, or giving them some kind of an activity for them to demonstrate whatever the phenomena has been taught. So that can be done in the groups, okay, rather than by one individual. So some kind of a monotony can be affected, like terminated, and then make them more active. Then engagement can be observed, can be measured. How many are like actually be engaged? How many are not really engaged? Or in a week, what sort of classes they are showing more of the engagement? What sort of the classes they are missing this kind of an engagement? If I think you have that mentor-mentee system, probably through your mentees, you can get every teacher when they get their own reflections upon it. I think during the staff meetings, you can discuss on it, what is motivating or making them engaged with the class, what is not motivating. Accordingly, like you can also have certain role plays or certain activities can be planned for the students. Then the quality of the program also defines the level of student engagement. When we say quality, So this is a component related to the students, teachers and the management. So how best you can plan. The syllabus has to be completed, no doubt in that. But in what best way that can be delivered? In what best way they can be planned? So apart from the regular teaching, like how many guest lectures related to your own subject you are able to plan it. And again, when I said lectures, not just like a general talk and chalk, but some kind of an interactive sessions, uh, showing certain, making them participate in certain exhibitions, which are organized at the college level, where they can participate and explain certain phenomena. So very frequently, at least for the college students of other branches, when you are planning, I think some kind of an general awareness related to the various fields of engineering can also be increased among the students. Then student-centered classroom activities. So what student-centered classroom activities generally you plan? May I know that? Because you have different branches. So what sort of activities generally you would plan?
Debate,
Very simple activities.
just a minute. I mean, in lab classes.
Okay, other than lab classes?
There are some reading activities like jigsaw methods, in which students are divided into groups, and at various phases they learn from each other instead of learning from the text, instead of learning from the teacher, they learn from each other. So at the end of the activity, they will be given a task. We will have rubrics as well. So based on the performance of the students, and we will give them marks. This works as a motivation for them to learn.
Right. So some kind of an incentive for participating and presenting, right? Okay.
Role plays, ma'am. Role plays.
Sorry?
Role plays, ma'am.
Role plays. Okay. What sort of role plays you plan in your courses?
Some of them are the lesson based, ma'am. If the lesson is a story kind of thing, then we allocate the characters of the story to different students in the class and ask them to play those characters which are mentioned in the lesson. That is something that we do in the classroom. In the lab, for very many years, we had an activity called AdZap, wherein we gave the students a product and we asked them to design an advertisement for it, in which they had to name the product, create skit for it, create a jingle, etc., which they did as a group. They rehearsed for it for about 20 minutes and then they performed in the midst of their classmates.
Okay.
Apart from regular debates and group discussions.
Right. So some of you have mentioned about group discussions, peer teaching. So with peer teaching, generally like certain inhibitions they can reduce to directly talk to the teacher. Probably they might be feeling like little low in their self-esteem, or that fear might be there. But with peer learning or collaborative learning, definitely like such inhibitions can be prevented. Then group writing, okay. But only thing is we need to see that whenever you are giving the group work, that all the members are participating, but not just one or two students. Then quiz, yes, board race, then image drawing, yeah, story building, diary writing and experience sharing. Yeah. So I think some of you have mentioned about the role plays and the story building. Might be you are from English department. If not the English department, if you are still practicing such things from your course, definitely we need to appreciate. Yeah, adding challenges. Yeah. So especially like we need to give them the practical implication of the concept. So once you teach the theoretical input, when you give them some activity and see how that can be useful, how that can be contributed into the actual field, then it would be then running dictation. So probably with certain formulas, certain concepts. Yeah, all these things can be planned. Then next one is like about the different elements of student engagement. Whatever you were practicing, for example, like you gave the activities, you were conducting some quiz, some group discussions, or if you are taking them to outside the classroom. Nowadays, we are saying like from lab to outreach programs, from class to lab, from lab to outreach programs. So when they were participating in these kind of the things, we can say the behavioral aspect that is directly there with the task, learning from the field, learning from the outreach program, how certain concepts can be implemented in the real life. Then academic, as you have said, like we are giving them certain tasks and we are giving them certain marks. Then emotionally, so this is where like when you are assigning certain tasks, people like that is some students who have certain internal issues and who are not really mingling with the people, or feel very depressed or feel lonely. At least we are giving them some platform where they can associate with the others and work on the tasks. So their emotional needs of like belonging, or probably once they are slowly interacting with the people, others will also develop some bonding with them. So such emotional development, emotional engagement can also take place, and sending them to certain exhibitions or some competitions, that is inter-college competitions, all these things will make them understand the people around, make new connections with the people, that is socially they will be engaged. Then agentic is like if they are part of any student clubs, any kind of an associations, through that if they are contributing something. Sometimes we see like even school children trying to experiment and come up with some model. So any such kind of a uniqueness depicted by the students, we call that as the agentic. So when the students are given the chance and the choice to get involved in various domains of these engagement behaviors, from academic, emotional, social, behavioral to agentic, you can see that definitely they are not reading for the examination point of view, or they are not attending the classes for the sake of attendance, but there will be a holistic development too. So you can plan whatever is possible within the limitations that you have to see that for the maximum time they are engaged.
Ma'am, some participants are saying that the screen is not visible completely. So can you please put it on slideshow, ma'am?
Ma'am, I think you have to maximize your screen, ma'am.
Are you able to see now?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is what we have discussed about this. Then about the dimensions of engagement, one is about campus engagement. I think most of the engineering colleges now, not only engineering colleges for that matter, even the degree colleges, they were trying to have a lot of what to say, the academic and also cultural dimensions in the college, so that the students would be engaged on the campus. And especially like when I have seen Christ University, I think most of you might have heard about Christ University in Bangalore. From morning 8 to evening 8, the campus is completely like filled with the students engaged with some task or the other. And the best part of that, what I have seen is morning around 8 o'clock, whatever their energy levels, even in the evening around 8 to 9, between 8 and 9 also, maximum energy levels they have been maintaining. So I think that kind of an engagement with various activities if not every day, but at least for maximum number of days in a month, if we can plan certain things, this valuing of whatever they are learning, the course, the content, and also about developing the sense of belongingness, that peer relations, collaborative learning, teacher-student relationships, all these things will be developed positively, and participation will also increase. If you observe, like when there are more of activities, students who don't regularly come to the class, they participate in these things. Once they try to participate in these things and start coming regularly to the college, though you see them in the campus, but not in the classroom, slowly their attendance is shifted in a positive direction into attending the classes also. So something should attract them, that not a monotonous lecture in the classroom, but other activities should really give them a way to make them feel the need to come to the college, that they are missing something if they are not attending the college. So once that campus engagement is increased, obviously, gradually the classroom engagement will also be increased. And we have already discussed the cognitive engagement, emotional and behavioral engagement. So the more the opportunities that you are giving them to use their cognitive process, to use their critical thinking, to use their, to display their creativity, and also giving them certain problems related to the engineering and give them the time to come out with the solutions, I think the zeal to really be connected with the classroom will be increased. Obviously, like the emotional aspects and the behavioral things, whatever we have already discussed. So intellectual engagement, once they have started engaging intellectually through your tasks and other things, naturally there will be always a stimulation for them. Okay, today some task might be given. Let me see like how challengingly I can handle that, or in what different way the course will be delivered. If I don't attend, like I might be missing it. So that kind of a curiosity should be instilled in them to make them completely attend the classes. Then emotional engagement, obviously, like that is the personal well-being, trying to be always like man is a bundle of human emotions. So sometimes, unfortunately, with certain students, there might be a very bad family environment. But when there is a good environment in the college, in the classroom with the good peers, that will make them like divert their attention from the negative things that are happening at the family to the positive things that are happening in the college, which would also improve their mental health. Then social engagement, obviously the collaborative tasks which you would be giving them. Sometimes like you can also focus on the social problems that are experienced by the common people. And if possible, like what is the solution that they can come out with. So that makes them inculcate the civic sense in them. And we have seen like sometimes people come up like with how the climate pollution, environment pollution can be reduced, or if in what better way the consumption of the electrical energy can be reduced. So such kind of situations, the social problems which we are experiencing can be given as the tasks and then make them learn and participate in it. Then physical engagement. This physical engagement is like, generally we call that as the kinesthetic learning. That is anything that is touched upon, observed, that information will be retained by the students for a longer time, rather than mugging up from the books, by hearting from the books. When they see the machinery, when they see the chemicals, if it is a chemistry, when they experiment with it, obviously like the kind of the learning that happens, it cannot be forgotten as early as possible. It can be retained for a longer time. Then cultural engagement, obviously you will be having a fest and other cultural activities or academic or annual days, which creates the kind of the diverse participating in the diverse cultures. That will also make them feel in the positive mental state, which would also influence their engagement. So when it comes to the student engagement, once again, the level of interest, the students' interaction with the content, with the instructor and the peers, And even if there is an interest, even if the teacher is highly interactive in delivering the content, still the motivation is the most important aspect. Especially when we speak about the motivation, it is not just the extrinsic motivation, that is getting the grades or the placements, but there should be an intrinsic motivation. I think you know about the intrinsic motivation, like I should love the subjects. Whatever dream or whatever goal I have in order to complete this course, that should be owned by the student. It should not be like, because my parents asked me to pursue this course or this particular branch, I am doing it. But it should be, even if they have created the direction, they should own it. The student should own it. So these are some of the examples that you can take. Then when it comes to the psychological factors, so already I spoke about the motivation, that intrinsic motivation, that passion to complete the course, passion to learn. And it is not just for the sake of like, if I do this course, what is the job that I'm getting? Career is different, learning is different, though one leads to the other. So that intrinsic motivation has to be felt by the students. Obviously, this intrinsic motivation directly you cannot create it, but through your activities, by giving them the chance to participate, that intrinsic motivation can be developed. Then another important factor which influences the engagement is their emotions. The moment they enter into the classroom, like the first day of the class, what sort of emotions or you can infer from the student's face? Are they coming with a very happy face? Or is it like one more day to go, I have to attend just for the sake of attendance? So is it, what sort of emotions are displayed by the students in the classroom? What do you feel? So is it like they're happy? Mixed emotions, okay. So what could be the reason, like why this kind of an mixed emotion? Why not at least a happy face on the students, a happy smile on the student's face? What is preventing them to really come to the college or come to the classroom with a positive emotion? Is it like um, coming from the home, they're carrying all those baggage of the problems? Or is it they were not liking the college or the classroom? Is the student willing to participate in teaching, learning based on one's needs? Yes, that also it matters. We'll come to that, basic needs. So sometimes like they might be carrying a baggage of problems, which might be disturbing them. Though they want to come to the college, be actively engaged, many issues at a personal level, at a family level, that might be disturbing them. But we have to see that as a mentor, if you can really talk to them separately, not in the classroom, uh, the issue that they are experiencing, and if you can give them some assurance, I think to some extent we can help them be with the positive emotions rather than experiencing extreme sadness or any other negative emotion due to their problems as such. Then people with good self-concept, high self-concept will actively participate. They feel, okay, I'm confident in whatever I am doing or in whatever I am responding. So people with low self-concept, that is probably their educational background is not really great. They were just average or below average students, so they hesitate to participate. But whenever they are participating in the class, even if they give the wrong answers, if you can really reinforce their behavior, if you can appreciate them, slowly their confidence levels will improve, their self-esteem levels will be increased. So we have to see, like, if you observe any student hesitate to respond, just encourage them to respond. So sometimes the kind of the attention that you give to them, that will motivate them to really take part in the conversations or whatever activities you are planning. Then another important factor is learning environment. So to what extent we are creating a conducive learning environment. Suppose if it is an English class, I think English might be there. You can definitely actively engage with the characters of the plays, or even making them recite the poem or give them various activities. But even with regard to the engineering subjects, what sort of an environment you can think of planning for the students? If not every day, but maximum time, or coming up with some problematic situation and asking them whatever they have dealt in the earlier chapters, how those principles can be applied in resolving the issue. So that would, though it may take some time for you to complete the syllabus when you're doing all these things, more than completing the syllabus, the engagement of the students, understanding the concepts by them, that will motivate them to learn, to be part of the class, and that also gives the satisfaction to the teacher when they are actively being participating. So when on the cognitive elements, definitely, like, based upon the academic performance, it is not just the semester exams, but I think all of you might be following CCE, comprehensive continuous evaluation. So sometimes you give them the test, sometimes you give them some assignments where they have to conduct the tasks and then give the report. So such kind of activities will improve the active cognitive role of the student. Then skill acquisition also, like when you are developing certain group activities and then making them participate in that, and then write the report individually, writing skills or comprehension of the concept, all these things can also be developed. Then non-cognitive factors also, you have to train them. It is not always the academic subject, but you have to make them prepare for the future careers also. So for that, you need to train in the employability skills, taking your own content, taking your own course papers as the base. So that focuses on, like, personal development, that is how they are able to motivate themselves, or how they are able to increase their interest in the learning the new things, new skills. What is the attitude that they have towards themselves, towards the people around, towards the content? So developing a positive attitude, that is an optimistic attitude towards various domains of the student life. Then work readiness. This involves, like, even the communication, learning the new tasks, learning the new concepts, because everything cannot be only from the theoretical point of view. They have to implement it in the job related situations. So to what extent they are ready for it, working together in the teams, collaborative effort, picking up the new concepts, new skills, demonstrating them, all these things will lead to the work readiness. Then self-regulation is another important aspect. So unfortunately, many students are lacking this self-regulation, especially once the technology has come into our part of the life. There are many other addictions, many other distractors and diversions. So in what way you are making them self-regulate their behavior? Identifying self-handicapped behaviors. So high levels of procrastination, high levels of impulsivity. You might have observed, like, how the impulsivity, that is very easily they get irritated, immediately they respond in the situation, very aggressively they respond. That is highly impulsive behavior. So when a student lacks this kind of self-regulation skills, these kind of behaviors will be displayed. So not only hurting others in an impulsive way, sometimes in that impulsive mode, they also hurt themselves. So that is the reason like why we see the suicidal ideations and all that. I think recently also we have been seeing in the newspapers like IIT students committing the suicide because they got less grades, whatever. So here that is highly impulsive behavior, not really developing a positive attitude towards themselves and also towards the situations. Lack of social skills. Social skills is like trying to interact with the people, the way they are communicating. Suppose like if they have to learn certain things, how they have to take the help from the others, developing pro-social behaviors, altruistic behaviors. So these things are also part of the social skills, but unfortunately, the students are not focusing on it. Then high levels of determination, challenges will be there, obstacles will be there, but making them identify what their challenges are, what their obstacles are, and what is the attempt that they have given in order to overcome these obstacles. Then perseverance, sometimes they might be failing in, they might be having the backlogs, but how you are able to motivate them, make them sustain their continuous efforts. So all these come under the non-cognitive factors, which would also improve their engagement once, as a teacher, as a mentor, you are giving them the helping hand. So once you are making them engaged in the class, obviously they not only engage, but they can also be get connected to the instructor, to the faculty, to the content, and also to the peers, which will lead to the transformation in the students. So we always insist on the education is insisting on the holistic development of the students. So developing the course, that is making them learn the course, and also see that the students are developing at the psychological level, at the behavioral level. So making them like prepared by making them be mentally ready to face the job atmosphere, that is the job market. These employability skills will be definitely be necessary. Someone asked, the problem is not about unemployment, it is about employability skills. Definitely, that is the reason like why, whether it is in the degree colleges or in the engineering colleges, apart from the delivering of the course, we should also train them in the employability skills. So these employability skills are directly, no course will be including this. But whenever you are giving them certain tasks, whenever you are giving them certain activities, you see that the tasks and the other activities are related to the developing their employability skills also. So that like their communication will be improved. For example, if you are giving them a group discussion and then giving them the marks, so how their communication is improved. If there is any debate on a particular topic related to the course paper that you are teaching, so debates always like sometimes they might be flaring up, arguing in terms of arguments, but how they are able to manage their emotion, how they are able to regulate themselves. So these things can also be observed. In fact, we can tell them on these aspects also the students will be evaluated. So you are giving the marks, you are grading the student not only for the course paper, for the course content, but also on the employability skills. The next concept would be about activation. Already we have discussed. About the emotions, naturally, like you need to, when I said like creating a positive classroom climate. It is a conducive classroom climate where your respect indicates that you are unconditionally accepting every child, every student. When we consider like engineering students, especially when they are in first year, obviously like they just completed intermediate and came. So they're young adults, just completed their not even young adults, late adolescents, if they are in 18, 19 years. So whatever the trauma that they have experienced in the intermediate colleges, they wanted to get relief from all that. So sometimes they might be withdrawing from the classroom engagement, but still, if we can, based upon their IQ levels, based upon their what to say, their knowledge, the kind of the knowledge that they have about the subject, in spite of all these things, if we can unconditionally accept them for whatever they are, whether they are very intelligent students, whether they are just average students, the first thing is they feel very safe and secure that we are not judged by the teacher. Even if they are responding or giving inaccurate responses, still, if you can appreciate for their participation and then giving them the reason like why their responses are not accurate, that supports their participation, fosters their engagement in the classroom. And but suppose like if teachers are behaving like a very authoritarian kind of a personalities, trying to criticize the student, what did you learn in the intermediate, from which college you have come, or how did you get the seat? So such kind of statements will definitely create more of the anxiety and fear, especially if they are very vulnerable. Some students definitely will be very vulnerable psychologically. So the moment you say something, not deliberately to hurt, but when such situations happen in the classroom where other students are also observing or present, that leads to the negative emotions. So always the learning environment, whether it is at the school level or at the college level or the university level, it should be propelling a positive attitude in them, a kind of an feeling, a secure feeling that I am here to learn. I can make the mistakes, but I can learn from the mistakes. So that kind of an assurance the student should have from the faculty. Then personality traits also influence why some students are highly engaged, why some students are not engaged. Suppose if I ask you, what is your self-concept that you possess as a teacher? We play multiple roles, right? So forget about the other roles. I am only asking in one role. What kind of a self-concept you possess as a teacher? Can anyone respond? High or average or low?
I think high only.
Okay. Some of the questions we'll discuss in the last, because I could see one or two questions. Yeah. See, self-concept is what is that you, the opinion you framed based upon what other teachers are thinking, what your principal is thinking about you, and what the students are thinking about you. Okay. So if you feel like my students are very happy with me, I can infer from that. That means based upon your observations about the other's opinion on you, you have formed the self-concept. So sometimes others might be wrong, others might be right, but still that will influence our confidence levels also, right? Similarly, the students also, they
Ma'am,
might,
sorry to interrupt.
yeah.
Yeah, the concept,
Mhm.
when it comes to personality traits, at what level? Are we talking about the lower level
Yes.
or at the undergraduate level?
Mm.
So that also depends, isn't it?
Right, right. So here, when I said like self-concept for the teacher, suppose like think over a newly joined teacher
Okay.
who just started.
Okay.
It is for
At
undergraduate.
the lower level?
Initial days, unless they are very confident, they might be having a moderate, if not lower level, just average kind of a concept. Some people might be having a lower level, but whenever as the experience is increasing and if the students are also happy with this teacher, they were giving the positive feedback, obviously slowly the self-concept will be increased for the teacher also, right? An experienced teacher, again, it's not necessary that highly experienced teachers always should have a high self-concept, not necessary. Some experienced teachers might be very poor teachers also, sorry to say that, right? Yeah. So similarly here, the student self-concept will also influence their participation. Sometimes you might have seen certain students like till the 10th class, they might be very poor in their academics, but suddenly there might be a change. But if the child is, that is, if the student feels like till my 10th class, I'm not a good student. So how can I really do good in this engineering or whatever course they are pursuing? That inhibition will not make them really be constructive in their engagement or in their active participation. So when you observe that, you have to, or when the student repeatedly shares with the friends or with the teachers, like, I'm not a brilliant student, I'm just an average or below average student, immediately picking up from what they have said, we have to encourage them a lot. Slowly they can improve the self-concept. And whatever work, that is classroom tasks or the activities that you are giving, when they're performing well and when you are appreciating, their self-efficacy will slowly improve. So self-concept is what they thought about themselves based upon what the teachers said earlier or parents said about them or the peers said about them. But self-efficacy is their own observation about the changes that they have brought up within their skills, within their performance. So that I can do attitude, that is, I can learn, I am capable of doing, attitude will be developed. When self-efficacy is developed, the self-esteem will improve. So what is this self-esteem? It is unlike the self-concept. Self-concept you framed based upon what others have said. Self-esteem is you evaluate about your own self. And then they feel, okay, I have mastered this concept. I can learn these tasks. I am capable of learning. I could accomplish. I am also capable of accomplishing some more goals. So that evaluation of oneself is more important rather than framing our opinion based upon what others have said. So people with poor self-concept will have low self-efficacy and low self-esteem. But once the self-concept is positively developed, self-efficacy will be improved and self-esteem will also be improved. So students with high self-esteem generally will participate more in the conversations. Then another personality traits are openness to experience. How many students are really flexible enough to tackle or to handle the new tasks? Some people, they want the mundane tasks, routine kind of a task. They don't want to anything to be unique. They feel like I cannot really work on it, or I don't have that ability to be very creative or unique in dealing with these things. But if the students are encouraged to be open to experience, such students will really do well and their participation will also be more. Then consciousness, that is like systematically they would be maintaining their records, making them plan their regular activities in the classroom in a unique way, in a planned way, in a more organized way. Once you instill these kind of traits, openness to experience and consciousness, their activity levels, engagement levels will also be increased. Then the other three domains of vigor are like vigor, engagement are vigor is that kind of an energy. Morning to evening, if they are showing the same level of vigor, here and there that energy levels might be reduced, but that enthusiastic and curiostic feelings towards whatever they are learning, that is most important. And dedication. Sometimes they feel like these papers are very difficult for me to learn. I just want to give it up. But the moment like they feel like I'm committed to complete this task, whether it is difficult or hard, I have to complete this semester or this course, that people with high dedication will not have the backlogs. Even if they have the backlogs, still they would clear out. And absorption is like completely engaged with the flow that is happening in the classroom environment. See, sometimes like whenever there's matches, cricket matches happen, people who are highly interested in this kind of activity, watching the game, nothing will disturb them. Even if something is happening, they're least bothered about it because that kind of an absorption is there. So if the students are given that kind of felt that kind of an absorption, the engagement levels will also increase. So from where this absorption can be developed, again, it is in the hands of the faculty. So each one of you have to see when you are having the lesson plans for which chapters, for which concepts, what kind of activities should be planned, in what different way it can be conducted. So this journaling or this kind of an record of events, you should plan first, even before your academic year starts. Then you can instill these kind of the activities or the skills in the individuals.
Ma'am, there's one question here. When you're talking about the self-concept and self-esteem, and a student who has low self-esteem because their self-concept is not clear, or maybe they do not know about it, and all the teachers, they are not trained in like understanding whether they have really low self-esteem. So what are the signs? What are the symptoms that they show so that we can understand that they have low self-esteem or their self-concept is not clear?
Okay. So some symptoms would be like they're very hesitant. As a teacher, you observe like they're capable, but somehow they're not really showing up to the expected mark. They're hesitant, very reluctant to participate. Even to express what their problem is, they're not ready to share the things. So such kind of like where people hesitate a lot to share or participate or to express, that is one thing. Probably they're having that feeling that they would be judged by the others. Okay, or they might not be really good like other students. They don't interact much. Okay, especially with regard to the academic content. But if some students, though they are having low self-esteem or low self-concept with regard to the academics, they might be participating outside the classroom activities, extracurricular activities. So that also you can observe.
Can aggression be also this self-concept? Maybe they have a wrong self-concept, that's why they are showing.
Aggression, it depends upon like that occurs because of their high levels of frustration. And why that frustration? Is it like they're reading, but they're not really able to remember and perform well, or they're not able to understand the subject? So anything that is preventing them to do some activity to reach a particular benchmark, that might be highly frustrating. When they're not able to understand that frustration, how to manage that frustration or what can be done, that results in the aggression. So sometimes low self-concept people can exhibit that, but we cannot say like all the people with low self-concept will be into the aggressiveness. They can also go into the depression. So it all depends upon how and what is their method of expressing. So the more highly frustrated and also impulsive in their nature, they may show it in the aggressive behavior. Very high on loneliness or feeling isolated, don't interact much. Such people, they might be going into the depression more. So it varies like how it is manifested. But low self-esteem people, generally, they withdraw from the others. They don't interact much. So these kind of observations, you can make it. Then another important concept is the psychological needs. Someone was asking like whether needs are, if they are deprived of the needs, will it be affecting? So here, like when I speak about the psychological needs, it is not about food, clothing, water, and all that. Those are physiological needs. In fact, even those have to be fulfilled, right? And I think when it comes to private colleges like this, most of the students, they were fulfilling their basic physiological needs. It is not like they don't have anything at home to eat, right? So once these physiological needs are fulfilled, only then they can concentrate on whatever their goals and academics, whatever it is. So here, in fulfilling these kind of uh, higher level needs, not the physiological needs, we have to see whether they have these psychological needs fulfilled. So when I say psychological needs, need for competence, whether they are feeling the need to compete with the others. If I feel like, see, my father is a businessman and I don't require any money. We have lots of crores of rupees as the property. I am just studying for the sake of getting the degree. So I don't feel the need for competing with the others. When I don't feel the need for competing with the others, why should I learn the skills unless I have some interest in developing some new skill? So need for competence has to be present in the students. Only then they can strive for that, uh, try to acquire the skills, try to see that they are performing better than the others. Then another need is autonomy. So is it like, are we really giving them the autonomy? That is, when I said we, it can be the college level, at the college level, it can be at home. If I wanted to join in one particular engineering course, but I got the seat or I was asked to join in another branch where I'm not at all interested, and I'm forced to read, I'm forced to do all whatever is not really fulfilling my interest. So I feel lack of autonomy. I have to uh, pursue this course to fulfill the satisfaction of my parents or someone else who has directed me. So lack of autonomy in doing the things will also decrease the engagement. Then relatedness. To what extent, like the students have that bonding with the teacher, that sharing, that rapport with the teacher, with the other students. Sometimes if you observe some students, they just come and go. They're very silent. You don't even remember such students because very silently they come, very silently they go. Never you see them interacting with them. So not only the teachers, even the other classmates, they hardly remember such students. And even in the future, when when there is a change in this student and says like, I was your classmate, it is very difficult to remember such students because they completely get disengaged. They're not related in any way with the teacher or with the other students. Then teacher-student relationship. So what sort of a role that you play with your students? Can anyone mention? Is it like a dutiful teacher who comes to the class and then see that you are completing the syllabus and leaving, or any one-on-one relationship that is like giving some time to the student who requires your time? Are you able to give that time?
Yes, ma'am. When I go to the classroom, I focus more on the students who are not able to respond to what I teach.
Very good.
So, because that is what I am concerned actually.
Good, very good.
I know by then I complete my teaching. I know who are the students who are following, who are the students in kind of confusion.
Right.
So I'm very observable. So I stop there. I don't continue. I stop there and I go to the student whether whatever I explained in terms of the content of the subject that I teach, I try to find out.
Right, good.
So
So
he or she will certainly tell me, no, I couldn't catch up. What is it? meaning of the vocabulary that I, refer from the text.
True.
Yeah.
Very true. So at
Yeah.
least every student may not express it, but at least sometimes when some students express it and when you are clarifying, others who are not opening up their mouth because of the fear or they're not used to or with self-doubt, they will also be benefited.
So
Sometimes.
not only that, ma'am, sorry to interrupt. Not only that, because some of the students who come from, a rural background and Telugu medium background, they expressed me. So the kind of vocabulary that I, perceive from the text, I could not find, I could not understand. Even when you tried to simplify it, I could not find out. Please translate it. So at times I felt I need to, switch on to bilingual.
Yes, there is nothing wrong. In fact, now the new education policy is insisting the learning in the mother tongue, right? So sometimes some concepts, wherever it is necessary, if you have to use the bilingual, that can be acceptable. Okay, so one is like clarifying the doubts, even if they are not directly expressing, by observing their expressions. When you get a doubt, like probably this concept was not really has been comprehended by the students, you can repeat it. Then you can recap whatever has happened in the earlier session in the first few minutes. Start the class with some general topic. What is the most important thing that is happening in the news, and then slowly you can connect it, if possible, to your course paper or course content, whatever you are trying to teach them that particular day. Similarly, last 10 minutes, I think you can engage them with other uh, concepts or other general talk, so that all this 1 hour, you need not be only with the concept that you would like to teach, but you can, even if you are teaching within 40 minutes, whatever is needed, and remaining 10 minutes in the beginning, 10 minutes in the end, it can be for a general rapport building with the students, where the students get connected. Even if they have any serious issues, they would be sharing it with you, which you can really help them to resolve certain things. So sometimes by focusing on the other aspects also, you can really be a good mentor, and then resolve whatever are standing as the obstacles for their academic performance. So this teacher-student relationship is always an important aspect. And if you are in very, say, showing that warmth and that love and affection towards the teacher students, I think gradually they would also overcome many kind of fears or inhibitions. They would come forward to really seek your help, whether it is related to the subject or any non-subject issue. Then another important thing that we have to see that the students are really being increased is the psychological capital. We only speak, unfortunately, in the society about economic capital, how important it is, but we ignore the social capital and the psychological capital. So the social capital is see that there is a maximum interaction among the students, whether it is in the class or outside the class. Because nowadays, people are more interactive only with their smartphones and internet, but not with the live relationships. So that is leading to many other issues also. In fact, as a psychologist, I have observed, like earlier, if anyone has any emotional suffering, emotional pain, if you are hurt, you used to talk at least with one close friend or a cousin or family member. We used to discuss with them. But now the present trend is even to seek some love and affection or some kind of a warmth when they are emotionally suffering. They're taking the help of AI tools. So the research is also showing that how people are depending on AI when they are feeling lonely to get the emotional support. So when there is no help, depending upon the AI tools to get that emotional bonding, that's a different thing. But they cannot be completely dependent on that. That will also lead to some other psychological ailment. So we have to invest this psychological capital, social capital, that is connected, being connected with the people around, with good people, develop proper bonding. We are also seeing nowadays, like, children are not ready to go to any social functions, right? But sometimes attending those social functions is also important because they learn a lot from the actual experience, observing the people's emotions, people's expressions, what to communicate, what not to communicate, where we have to be assertive, where we have to uh, calm down. So these are the things which we pick up from the actual interactions, not from reading any books. So that kind of a social capital has to be developed in the students, and similarly this psychological capital. So social capital is you have to develop by interacting with the people in the environment. Psychological capital, we have to create it within the individual. So this psychological capital, we call that as the inner resources. So how many of you feel that you are optimistic? When I say optimistic, don't say, or for that matter, any other trait that is mentioned here depends on the situations. Everything depends on the situations. But to what extent? Maximum time, are you optimistic? Maximum time, are you resilient? That is, crisis comes, some adversity occurs. It could be at the workplace, it could be at family, it could be at a personal level. How quickly you are able to bounce back again, rather than like just drowning in that crisis. Then how hopeful you are. So hope is related to the specific situation. Optimism is related to the, it's an attitude towards the world, towards the people, towards the situations. Hope is specific to a situation. So investing in the students, that how important it is to be optimistic. Okay, one course the student is not able to understand, or probably socially the student is not able to interact with many people. But what can be done? How the situation can be improved? Resilient, there might be backlogs, or there might be some physical illness due to which the student has failed in the exam. But what can be done now? How that can be considered in a challenging way? How they can bounce back to the success? Then how making them like more hopeful with setting them, making them set small goals. Then efficacy, not only learning the subject, but developing the skills that are required for the course. So day one, when they joined in the course, then finally, final semester, that is the last year of the course, what are the changes that they have seen in them positively? What is that they have learned? What is that they have developed? The new competencies, new skills. So that shows that efficacy. So any student who has this hope, efficacy, resilience, and optimism, we can call them as heroes. In fact, it is not only for the students, it is even for the teachers. Psychological capital, the moment you invest these traits in you, you will become the hero of your life. That is, H stands for hope, E stands for efficacy, R stands for resilience, O stands for optimism. So this is called hero principle. So by investing in the psychological capital, we can make them successful, not only in their studies, but also make them successful in their life. Sometimes we see they are successful in the academics, but unfortunately not in the real life. So what is that is lacking in them? This hero principle is lacking. Yes, some of you have said like maximum time you are optimistic. That's good. Some of you mentioned that social skills are necessary. Yes. So finally, to conclude, the student engagement involves the personality characteristics of both the students and the teachers. what kind of supportive learning resources you are providing. Sometimes like you can also give good online resources. Now for every subject, we are able to see some good videos which you can make use of it, which even be created by the students if they are capable of. Then focusing on the teacher-student relationship in the form of a mentoring. Then positive or negative teacher behavior. So a very short-tempered teacher or very partial teacher who is biased towards or prejudiced towards only good students or brilliant students, that will prevent the other students be engaged. Similarly, a positive teacher behavior where gives or pays more attention to the required needy children, needy students who are not so brilliant and also have a lack of psychological and social skills. If you can support them, any kind of a slight change in them, that will be reinforcing them and they will never forget you even after years of completion of the course. Then positive or negative learning behavior. So what sort of tasks you are encouraging them to participate in the classroom? If they are coming up with some new suggestions and if the teacher denies them, that becomes a negative learning behavior. Or insulting, criticizing in front of the class, that is also a negative learning behavior. Then environmental support, you can create collaborative learning teams, peer learning teams among the students. So the dull students or average students can be helped by the other peers who are capable of making the students understand the concept. Then improving learning ability and thinking ability by making use of their critical thinking skills. So all these things will be really be helpful to the students to move on in their academics. So learner interactions are this: student to student interaction, student to teacher interaction, student to content interaction. So make them read the textbooks also. Nowadays, we are seeing like everything is shared in the PDFs and hardly they read. Only before the exams, whatever is needed, they are reading from the mobiles, right? But actual book reading, going to the library, if possible, like in your timetables, make the library sessions, make them read the textbook, and then ask them to present from it. So such kind of encouraging the reading habits also will be very productive in the long run. Give them regular feedbacks, not in a criticizing way, but always give the positive things first and then the suggestions to improve rather than giving them as a negative feedback.
Some of the phrases or language that teachers use and which might be very toxic or negative for their students, and how it can be changed into positive phrase. Can you just mention one or two so that we can also observe our language that we are using in classroom?
Right. So before, let me just conclude this also.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
So these 3 R's are more important, like rigor, relevance, and the relationships. So for a student to perform well, 3 things are important. First is the teacher, obviously the student, and the kind of the content that the teacher is presenting, the quality content, the way it is delivered. And apart from all these 3 aspects, the relationship that the teacher has with the student, that plays an important role. However difficult the content is, the concept is, the way it is presented by the teacher, making the, like as someone has just mentioned, like I observed that if they have the students and if they feel like they didn't understand, I'll repeat it. So that is possible only when you are having a proper rapport building and that kind of an networking with the students, when you are keen on observing and inferring from the facial expressions of the students. And the relevance of the content, It's not like whatever is there in the book, you have to repeat everything, but to what extent it is possible, the significance of it. That is like the quantity of the content, how much to be delivered, what to be delivered. So the relevance has to be checked by the teacher, and the rigor. Rigor here is like the enthusiasm that is shown by the teacher also plays an important role. So you have to like be aware of your own personality traits, your own teaching methodology. Every day, definitely you cannot use the same methodology. You have to change. And especially when the students give an expression that they didn't comprehend, how simply, how you can simplify the concept and demonstrate that. Always you try to observe the whole classroom, each and every student. Those who feel like very indifferent or not at all participating, probably you can talk to them later, not in the classroom, in front of the others. Then see that there is an active participation, active interaction from the student side. That will lead to like making the students engaged, making the teachers also engaged, because you are not just engaged only with the content, but you are making the students participate, which will eventually lead to the good teacher-student relationships also. So with this, the presentation is over. So what I could, I could see some questions. I'll just discuss about it. So one thing I already mentioned, like we didn't speak about the unemployment. It is need for developing employability skills. That too, like how you can inculcate as part of your methodology, teaching methodology that you are using in creating the employability skills by giving them some tasks and whatever you are planning. Yeah. So this is like competition is always there. We cannot reduce the competition in the job market, but that academia industry meets always you can plan. Or if it is not completely in your hands, if the college has to plan, you can read from the newspapers, which is giving you the global reports, what exactly the job market is searching for in the participants. I think last year also there are a number of reports like recruiters are very unhappy about the lack of skills in the students. They are only getting the grades but not the skills. So they have given a list of skills also. So how we can make them develop these skills, as long as like they are your students, you can have a particular plan related to the development of these things, or at least through the placement center that you have, you can see that you can develop or inculcate this kind of an employability skills. So is the campus ready to make the students industry ready? That should be answered by the college managements. But always, it is always better like if the campuses can be really made student friendly and makes them be ready for the industry. I think such kind of an orientation has to be achieved by the college management, by the faculty also. So you insist that such kind of platforms be there. How we can make the student be ready for the industry. So one is like, please teach them all those employability skills. Social skills are the most important thing. And with the technology in hand, the way they are communicating informally, I think we are missing the English also, right? A proper English. Informally, they can use that messaging language, texting language, all that. But they should also know the formal language. And with AI and ChatGPT, everything they are asking and downloading it. They're not making use of framing a simple language, simple sentence. So that has to be, if AI can do everything, why will they recruit the human beings, right? So I think we have to make them understand the need for language skills, the communication skills. Yeah, definitely, Raghavendra Garu, like we cannot make every student behave like Swami Vivekananda. If it is so easy, I think Swami Vivekananda will not be a special person, right? But definitely, each student has their own space and time, as you have mentioned. You cannot insist that every student should be able to understand every concept within a limited period of time. Students who are bright will definitely do that. Students who are not bright, how we can help them out? So we have to give them the time. If the bright students are given to complete a task, to submit an assignment, a week's time or a 4 or 5 days time, probably children who are not really so good in their academics, they can be given some extra time. Here, the purpose is to make them do the work rather than just make them feel that they couldn't submit it. So that is one thing. And yeah, to some extent, teachers can take the responsibility to instill the confidence in the student, because parents may not have the time, parents may not be educated in all the students' cases. But as long as they are in your class, even if few students have really improved in their confidence levels, in their understanding levels, I think you have done a very good job to them. So the moment you encouraged or you created that kind of an positive classroom environment, definitely they would put the efforts. That starting trouble will always be there for those poor learners or who have low self-confidence. So for them, for the couple of days till you see a small change in them, if you can be with them and if you can carry their hand, obviously, like even a slight change will really make them believe, start believing in themselves, and they will continue with their efforts. Yeah, why the students are hesitant in the class? Definitely, some personality traits will always be there because each individual is unique. Some might be highly expressive, some might not be expressive. Why they are not expressive could be again based upon their previous experiences. Like in certain schools, in certain colleges, if they want to say anything or if they want to ask anything, like they try to snub them. They don't encourage them to ask any question or listen to their question responses. Or if the answer is not right, they might have been very harsh to them. So such experiences, due to such experiences also, they would hesitate. Or some teachers at the university or at the college level, again, to what extent they are permissive, we don't know that. So even sometimes the teacher's behavior may also be making them inhibited in the class. So how the student needs to be met? So, Mr. Lawrence, can you just be more clear in this? What sort of student needs when you asked here? I spoke about need for relatedness, need for autonomy. Okay. Need
Yes,
for
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. In connection to that, yeah, some practical examples to meet the students, meet
okay.
their, yeah.
Suppose like some students definitely like more than reading, more than listening, probably they want the actual participation, actual demonstration. So what is that you can do? What is that you can demonstrate? How you can demonstrate a particular phenomena? So are you able to, apart from your lab classes, anything else, taking them into the outside the classroom to the playground? Are you able to demonstrate anything? It depends upon the concept that you are teaching. Then like if the student needs are like a collaborative efforts, so what group activities you can plan, or give them the choice to plan certain activities in order to meet their needs. So sometimes like once in 15 days, you ask them like if how best like the same concept can be discussed upon, through what activities that can be discussed upon. So in that way also like they would come out with a number of suggestions, the brainstorming will happen. They will not be into the monotonous way of listening only to the teacher, but they could also come up with a new role and then demonstrate to the other students who didn't understand the concept. So different divergent activities can be planned upon. Definitely a teacher should be a good counselor. In fact, like we are using now in the academics a mentor, fine. Whether a mentor is also like deals with holistic development. Counselor, it's much beyond the mentor. Serious psychological issues, if anything, to what extent you can counsel them and if necessary, guide them to go for the professional counseling. You can be like a good counselor to them, definitely.
Ma'am, I have a doubt. Can I ask you?
Yes. Yes.
Ma'am, as you talked about competence and collaboration, when we are trying to instill them into the students, they are not able to relate or actually connect these two, ma'am. If they are either competing or they are either collaborating.
Okay.
How do we actually make them connect with their own qualities like this, or how do we may express that all these qualities are yours and you have to know what level you have to express all these things?
Okay,
The
if
range.
students are only competing or collaborating, from the collaborating, they would also learn definitely like where they have to compromise, where they have to give the chance to others. Competing, definitely they want to prove themselves. Other than these two, what else like you are expecting? Is it like a cooperative or I didn't understand the actual question. Either they are competing or collaborate. Both
Yes, ma'am. And that
good in
and second.
certain conditions.
Yes, ma'am. And the second part of the question is that, ma'am, when we try to give them or ask them to see what qualities they have, they are not able to relate one quality of theirs with their other quality and saying that, ma'am, I don't have this, or I feel like I don't know what that exact quality is. They are not able to relate between their own competencies or qualities that they have.
So they don't have a clarity about their own traits, you mean to say?
Yes, ma'am.
So what could be the reason here? Like, is it really they are completely unaware of their personality, unaware of their traits, or they want to hear from you?
They actually want phrases, ma'am, like you're good, or when we say something, but
generally sometimes when you ask them, when you ask the students to identify their positive qualities, some students they're able to do that. Some students they just give a smile. They said like, I cannot, or I don't know. So in that case, what you can do is ask the other students in the class, like what did they observe in these 2 years or 3 years, or even if they are first years within the last few months, what is that they really liked in him or her? So at least a couple of students will be answering that. So then you relate it to that student. So agree with it. Sometimes they may say, probably I don't know, but because they are saying, I will reflect upon it, or I will look into these things. Or some students, they might accept it. So
yes,
identifying these traits, some students have a problem. I don't say that they don't have, but you can do these kind of an activities. So to make them confident that it's not like I don't have the positive qualities just because I'm not able to say, but I do have the qualities as observed by the others.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, someone said reach and teach, but do not teach to reach. Yes. Nowadays, like we are really focusing much on this kind of an outreach activities. From the activity, infer the concept that has to be done. In fact, that will create the actual enthusiasm. Even before you teach the concept, they would try to learn how a particular phenomena is happening or occurring. Yes.
Now there are some questions. This question by Sunita ma'am. She says that Gen Z are more laid back and not subject to rigorous of learning. I mean, they don't have learnability.
I'm coming to that 1 minute. Yeah, Srinivas Garu, you said like, I do agree because I am also a teacher that we work under many constraints. Syllabus completion is also part of it. Meeting other deadlines is also part of it. But what I recommend is, like when you asked how to employ the psychological factors for their benefit, I think I already mentioned like first 10 minutes or last 10 minutes. You just try to be with the students, try to give some story or whatever is relevant to your course or content, or even if it is not relevant, just a 5 minutes of a story or an incident that you are seeing in the day-to-day life from the newspapers. Make them have some discussion on it, take their reflections, and then conclude with one particular trait that is associated in that incident or a narration, whether it is being open up or being very positive in their thought process, or whether it is about resilience, anything. And at least once in 10 days, just like whenever you have a time or whether they have a free time, you can just interact with general activities, general conversations. From the conversations, you can instill these kind of the psychological factors. See, where there is a will, definitely there will be a time. Every teacher.
Yeah, but definitely, I think it's a very challenging task, ma'am, among
Yeah.
all the fraternity of all of us.
Or at
Because
least
you're,
one life
yeah,
skills class, you plan it at least once in a month. You, in the sense, any teacher or a
yes,
couple
any
of
practicing
teachers
teacher.
coming together. Because you'll have number of sessions. By the time like all the sessions are completed, again, it takes some time and then again you can rotate it. So some life skills, all life skills cannot be imparted. But one day
Yes, yes.
in a month for one section of the people, you can plan such things. Through stories, through activities, you can make them learn ultimately what is the purpose of it. Even if a handful of students have benefited, definitely the outcome we can consider as very productive. Okay.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Dear participants, if there are more questions that you would like to ask Dr. Swati, we just have another 5 or 10 minutes. You can ask your questions one by one. There's already a discussion going on, but if some of you have questions that you have not asked over here, you can ask your questions.
Right. Meanwhile, I shared the link to fill the feedback form. Participants, please fill it.
Are there any other questions that the participants would like to ask, ma'am?
Swati, can you please stop screen sharing? That yeah. And
Good evening, ma'am. I have a question.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Can you suggest any psychometric tests that we can use for the students, which is readily available?
Actually, psychometry, are you by any chance like completed MSc psychology or MA psychology?
No.
Yeah.
I'm an English teacher, but
Yes.
then we do teach the students soft skills and we conduct sessions on soft skills.
Okay.
But I just want to know if there is any, reliable psychometric test which is freely available online or something that can be purchased,
Yeah,
which we can actually rely on. Yeah.
have to be administered only by the psychologists.
Okay.
So if you have a psychologist at the college level, probably.
Yeah, we do have. Yeah.
So, say 16P of Nairobi, they are more for the, not for the personality development. They are more used for the job employability and organizations like when they want to recruit, they would like to see the characteristics and then take the people. So, but not for the general students, okay? If you have the psychologist, the counseling center, normal tests, not the diagnostic tests. There are some self-confidence, self-esteem tests, then about their academic engagement, then about their emotional intelligence. So such things are available, actually. Even in the online also, they are standardized. But there is a proper instructions like how we have to administer, how we need to score, how we need to interpret, that has to be done properly by the your psychologist. Okay. So these general tests definitely they can do, but not the diagnostic tests like depression, higher levels of anxiety. Such tests cannot be used.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
on emotional intelligence, self-confidence, self-esteem, family environment, if you see, if you feel, if you have a doubt like the student is not behaving properly or not doing good in the academics, because of the family environment, you can make them take that family environment assessment. So you will be knowing, that is the counselor will know what sort of factors are influencing his behavior. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Participants, do we have more questions? Do we have any more questions?
College environment will definitely impact the student engagement. So, what sort of rules and regulations? Too strict also, the student engagement will be reduced. Completely very permissive kind of an environment also, the students will not enter. So we have to take the neutral stand. Okay.
Good evening, ma'am. This is Dr. Rajisha Menon.
Yes, yes.
Your session is quite informative and insightful. Ma'am, I have a question that I heard in some of the colleges. Class in charges are asked to change the seating plan of the students every fortnight or in a month or so that the students can become more attentive. So, is it a right thing to do? I just wanted to know from you.
Every 15 days, what they have to monitor?
They keep changing the seating plan of the students. Usually, students prefer to sit with their peers, with their friends. So students are not attentive. So class in charge is asked to change the seating plan every fortnight or in a month. They keep changing their places in the classroom.
That's okay. Actually, like in one way, forget about whether they would improve the academics or not, but at least they would start interacting with different people, right?
Okay.
Generally, like they would be comfortable only with one or two, and throughout the semester, we see them only, not only semester, throughout the course, we see them only with a few people interacting. But when you change the seating plan, it has its own advantages, no doubt.
So it's only interaction, but not academically they are going to improve.
Academically, I doubt whether really that will impact. But
Okay.
understanding the people, knowing, picking up certain things, if positive things, if they are okay, those things can be improved.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Ma'am, I have a question. Can I ask?
Please.
Ma'am, as you mentioned, we have the mentor-mentee programs. And sometimes we get mentees who are passive-aggressive in the sense that if they require some kind of correction, whether academically or behaviorally or whatever, you can talk to them, counsel them. You can try every possible way of getting through to them, but they can stand and listen to you for 2 hours without saying a single word. And at the at the next very instance, they go back to what they were doing earlier. The parent is not able to get through to the child, the mentor is not able to get through to the child, the higher up authorities in the college is not able to get through to the child, because we simply do not know what the child is thinking. The child is totally opaque and does not say a single word. So with such children, sometimes as mentors we fail because we are not able to get anything out of the child at all. So what do we do with those kind of mentees? How do we get through to them?
So here, like you are making every effort. They also like behave as a very obedient student, but there is no really any kind of an improvement, right?
Yes, ma'am. And they don't tell you why they are not willing to listen to you either.
Okay. So when you are talking to them, like, are you involving them in whatever action plan that you are giving? Like, for example, for as a mentor, you might have suggested certain tasks for them, like you do in this way or you do in that way. So instead of directly suggesting, okay, if when this is the situation with you that has been observed, what can be done? How we want to overcome this? So did you ask make the student as more responsible in designing the action plan or anything?
No, we have asked such students, ma'am, what would you like to do? And can you tell me why you are, not willing to do this, etc. Not a single word from the mouth. They just sit and listen to you, even if you talk to them for 1 hour. Not a word. Then it becomes like you're talking to a wall.
Okay.
So we don't know. In my case, I do have a mentee. It was like this: the parent has failed, we have failed. We just do not know how to get through to the child.
Okay.
Does this child require then professional counseling?
Yeah, if they're not at all opening, first thing is like probably you ask them you just ask them to write like what is their goal, what is that they would like to do, what are their hobbies, like just to engage them even in this kind of an mentor-mentee relationship. Because as you said, they are listening to you everything happily, but not opening up the mouth. But when you put it on the paper, give them like, show them the paper, ask them like, what are your hobbies? Write it down. What is it you would like to do? Or what are your hobbies? So to start with, to make them really come into the track, you can focus on these aspects. See, like at least to one such question, they would start responding. Have a discussion on that. Okay. So if they have mentioned like so and so is a hobby, are you continuing that? Are you still doing such kind of hobbies? If they said no, have a discussion on it. Slowly, like that reluctance will be there in some of the people, like whether they are students or whether they are really elders who are coming for the counseling. Everyone will not be opening up. That reluctance will be there because they don't want to share any of their information. They feel like in what way they can help us, or I don't want to share anything. Such kind of an attitudes will definitely be there. So leave the actual issue aside, make them like interact, that is with writing on the paper, like certain such kind of the things. Whom do they like? Or you can just have some incomplete sentences. I like dash. Okay. The best thing in in the world to me is. So when they have to complete the sentences, some responses they would give you. From there, you can start the conversation.
Okay.
Ma'am, I think that can be, I think, happened maybe lower level. But what about students at the undergraduate level who are above 18 years? I think they could be. I think, in fact, I posted it in the chat box. I think they may be at the deciding factor. What is it that I want? What is it I don't want? Because based on the information that is available, the kind of AI, the kind of network, the kind of mobile phone.
Yeah, children are at the deciding factor, but see, as long as everything is going smoothly, even if they are deciding, that's okay. But when things are not moving properly, we have to make them understand where they are stuck up also, right? For that, we need to have that conversation. And directly, as you said, I might decide like, I don't want to discuss on this issue, so I might not be ready for it. But still, as a teacher, when you feel that some help is needed to that student, we have to keep the actual issue aside and see what other ways of making them interact with you. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. I agree to what you said. I think it's quite challenging
Yes,
to
definitely.
make them convinced that there is somebody who is there as a facilitator to listen to you, to understand, and then find ways to once,
One thing is like
problems, solution, to find solution to problems.
human behavior is very complex, very unpredictable, and especially handling the students at this age, neither completely they are younger children nor completely the adults. So it is very challenging, but still, to what extent we can really make an effort and bring out some changes where they are required. Okay, so every time with every student you may not be successful, but don't worry about it. It is even like if you go to a doctor, with all the patients he might not be successful, right? But he will make the maximum effort, right, to help the patient. It depends, like even the adherence of the patient to the medical prescription and whatever the doctor says that he has to adhere to it. When he is not cooperating, maximum output cannot be attained by the doctor also. So similarly here also, as teachers, definitely we have the limitations. As an individual, we have the limitations. All the class, the 100 students or 60 students in the class cannot be molded. But at least like among the deserved students who really seek your help, who really want your help, at least some of them have really responded to you. Take that as the success. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. I think there are many more messages that are pouring out. I do not know whether we can really address to that because we are at the verge of close. Host?
Thank you.
Sorry, ma'am. Go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I can really see that enthusiasm in all the participants. Most of you have been responding in the chat box. Yes, someone has mentioned the attention span has gone down. Definitely. That is the reason like why teaching is not the same kind of an activity like how it happened only with under the talk and chalk method. We also have to invent in our own way the different ways of engaging them to the maximum. For each and every minute that you are teaching, definitely you cannot ensure that 100% engagement, but maximum engagement, how we can foster in the students. So for that, we also have to upgrade our skills. We have to use the technology also to the best of it. Always like plan the activities much before. So you have to dwindle between the activities.
Thank you, ma'am. We had a very, very interesting session talking about the role of psychology in classroom engagement. I'm sure a lot of us participants over here are, at the end of the session, full of ideas about how our respective classrooms can be improved from the point of view of psychology. I thank you very much for giving us time and an opportunity to interact with you. I also thank the college management, chairman, principal, vice principal, dean, and HOD, sir, for approving of this FDP and supporting this FDP in full measure. I also thank the participants for their valuable time. Thank you for your attention. This is Bhavani Balasubramaniam signing off for today. We will meet each other tomorrow for another session at the same place and at the same time. Thank you all for being here. Good night.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Swati ma'am. Thank you, Swati ma'am. And I know you are really very busy and still you took out time for us.
Thank you. It's pleasure to me also. I personally enjoy interacting with as many group as possible so that even I learn from all of you, right? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you all. We'll see you tomorrow at the same time, 6:30 to 8:30 for another session by Dr. Santosh Mahapatra. Good night to all.
Good night, ma'am.